such a strange and amusing place. One day you buy him rocket ship underpants, and then the next they're in outer space. Mama, don't you know you keep the whole world turning round?
Childhood obesity is a huge buzzword right now, and a lot of people are very concerned about it. What is your suggestion about how to deal with that?
Well, role modeling, look at your own diet and look at the way that you set up meals. Is it a comfortable environment? Do you feel like food is something that you give as rewards, or is something that you eat in response to sadness, happiness? When you have parties or events or functions, are you serving foods that are healthy? Even I know that families get together and they watch football games, or what kinds of things are you introducing to your family at that time?
I think a lot of people are having difficulty with the activity level of their children. You know, the more they're on the computer, the more they're playing the video games, the less active the children are. And I think that's probably one of the things that has increased also, wouldn't you say?
Well, and as people in general were less active. And something that is really good is to set up activity dates. Maybe as soon as the kids come home from school, take them right outside, maybe with their bag of snack, and take them for a walk, and introduce activity in non-structured ways.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, some moms get caught up into carpooling them here and there, and they're missing out on their activity because they're driving around so much.
When we were kids, when I was a kid, I spent all my time outside. My mother didn't even know where I was half the time. I mean, she would stand on the porch and scream, and hopefully I'd come running out of the woods or something, With my daughter, with our kids these days, you worry so much about them not being within earshot, and it's like borderline negligent to let your kids go outside and play when you're not sitting on the porch watching them in the yard. So I started doing this thing with my daughter when she wants to ride her bike. I bought walkie-talkies that go for like 3 miles. So I know that she's always going to be, and she will call me on the walkie-talkie and periodically let me know. If I haven't heard from her, I'll call her. If she wants to go into someone's house, she'll call me and ask if it's okay.
I think
that's
that
worked out nicely.
Because you just don't want to send your children out to play anymore.
And if they're in the
like they used
home
to.
on the computer, you know where they are.
Right.
And it's more about just making sure that there's always an eye on your child that you trust.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so, making sure that you involve activity, that you make it fun, that you enjoy doing the activity as well. They'll enjoy anything that you're doing.
So go out and shoot hoops.
Right.
I got a basketball hoop. I got to get out there and shoot hoops, and I got to go jump on the tramp with my kids.
Yeah. What about portion control? One of the problems that I have is my youngest sees what my oldest is eating and thinks that he should be eating the same amount. It's kind of like a competition thing that they have. But, there's 5.5 years difference, and significantly different in height and weight. Mm-hmm. So
I think that setting up your plate in a healthy way is the best way to control portions. The New American plate, the Idaho plate method, where half of your plate is vegetables, and then you have your starch, your bread, your pasta, your rice in one area, and then your meat or your beans or legumes in the other area, is a really healthy way for everyone to set up their plate, including kids.
And that's the new way to do it. See, when I grew up, my mother being a bodybuilder, she always had us do our plates in thirds. So it was just a third, a third, a third. Now it's half vegetables. It's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But I kind of like, for my kids, I have 15 years old all the way down to 3. And the 3-year-old and the 5-year-old will pretty much split a portion, but everybody else has the same amount on their plate. And also, I think using smaller plates helps.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially when you're, for instance, bowls for ice cream. Mm-hmm.
I use
you
mugs.
feel like you want to
to
fill those bowls up, but if you use just like little ones, then it's.
Well, I started teaching my kids nutrition label stuff too. Like, pay attention to what it says the serving size is, because honestly,
you don't know.
You don't know.
And that's really important too. That's important for adults.
Yeah, all cereals are different. Just because one cereal says a cup, some cereals are only half a cup, which is really depressing.
Yeah.
I would use measuring spoons instead of serving spoons.
Yeah.
So when you get the rice out of your pot, then you serve it in a half cup and see where it fits on your plate. And it really happily fits in that quarter of a plate. Mm-hmm. But with your 15-year-old, maybe he would be allowed to get seconds of something,
serving, right.
whereas your younger child would not.
Right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
For more information on nutrition for your family, go to our website,
mommycast.com.
Mama, don't you know you keep the whole world turning round?
Thanks. This was awesome.
Thank you.